Hi everybody, my name is Todd Nauck. Welcome to the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. This is my first time to broadcast here from Facebook. Usually I broadcast on Periscope, and I've been broadcasting there for just over a year now. I have a YouTube channel. If you like what you see here and you want to see more of my art videos, if this is your first time to see my art, swing by youtube.com/Todd Nauck and you can see lots more of my art videos. What I plan on doing here today is a Post-it note sketch. I've been doing Post-it note sketches for some time. If you follow my Facebook fan page, you've probably seen my Post-it note sketches. Started off as a warm-up sketch idea. Just wanted to do a quick warm-up sketch on a small piece of paper. The smallest piece of paper I had was a pack of Post-it notes, so I drew a Spider-Man. And that went well, and people responded well to it, so I started doing more and more, and they went from warm-up sketches to almost pretty much full-blown illustrations. So it's kind of become my new jam. And let's see, we got Vito1 here. Hi, Vito1. I remember you from Periscope. Why not on Periscope? Because I want to try this platform, see if I can reach some new people, a new audience, since this is a new thing here. So looking to just reach out to some new people. Don't plan on giving up my Periscope broadcasts. Just want to try Facebook here. So I want to welcome everyone for coming in, and I'm going to plug into the rig here. This is my first time, so I have to make sure the rig sets up right. There's kind of a slightly different camera format here for Facebook as compared to Periscope. So please bear with me. And as I do on, welcome everyone, welcome. I'm seeing some names I recognize here. Sean Richter, the father of Kid Colson, awesome cosplay family there. So glad y'all are here, and welcome everyone else. Eric Ellis, welcome. I try to do my best to try to answer questions while I draw. And if you see me on Periscope, it's difficult for me to catch all the questions because a lot of my focus is on the art. So if I miss your question, probably it's because I just couldn't see it. So I try to answer those that I can, but I can't promise I can answer everyone's questions. Oh, more friends from conventions. Jason, Heather, hello, welcome. Welcome to... Hi there, are we back? I had some sort of prompt there. I think we had a difficult time staying connected. So, this is my inaugural Facebook broadcast. Hopefully this goes well, and I'll do more broadcasts from here as well as Periscope. Be sure to follow me on all my different social networks. I'll say that here at the top of the show. Twitter, Instagram, I'm at Todd Nauck. Periscope, at Todd Nauck. You can see more of my broadcasts there. YouTube channel, the Todd Nauck YouTube channel. Lots more videos, as well as I'm on Tumblr, DeviantArt, Snapchat. I snapped my first chat yesterday, and I'll try to keep up with that one. It's hard to get ingratiated. Is that the right word? Kind of get caught up on a new social platform. So, oh, I think Kid Colson rocks. Awesome. Hey to Gavin. So let's plug into the rig and get drawn, and hopefully this will work well. Right. Turn this sideways. Does that work? Yes, it does work. Oh, this works great. I can see everyone's comments on the side a bit more easily than on Periscope. That's nice. Hello, Salsi. Hello, Benjamin. Welcome. Hello, Mark. Glad y'all are here. This is very interesting here using the Facebooks. All right, so kind of have to get used to this setup here, but I think we'll be doing all right. Wow, this is really interesting. I like the Facebook setup, and it's great for drawing Post-it notes on because the screen area is pretty much a square. So let's get started here. Let's see, you've always wondered, would I rather draw with natural light or like natural sunlight or artificial lights? It depends on where I'm at. One thing I like about this new place we're living in, we just moved to earlier this summer, is that it has a bigger window, so it lets in more natural light, which I really appreciate compared to my old studio, which had a much smaller window, so I was not getting as much natural light. So I do like natural light, for sure. That does make a difference. So I like a mixture of both. Kind of natural light is much easier on the eyes, but sometimes I need artificial light to reach the places that maybe the natural light isn't getting. Yes, Antonio, this is the Kuratoga pencil. It's a .3 lead, HB lead. That has been my jam for about 5+ years. Did I improvise this pose? A little bit. I kind of had it somewhat envisioned in my mind before I started in, but once I start putting lines down on paper, I'm kind of editing as I go to utilize the space. So part of it is planned, part of it is then improvised, much like a Indiana Jones plan. You know, he has a basic idea and then he makes up the rest as he goes. That's kind of how I approach my art in many ways. Make it up as I go along. Not exactly, but... Will I be at Alamo City Comic Con this October? No, I will not, unfortunately. I will be at the New York Comic Con this October. So if you're on the East Coast, please do come visit me at the New York Comic Con. But feel free to let Alamo City know that you'd like me there as a guest, and maybe they'll extend an invite. Oh, hello, Tari. Glad you're here. Gotcha, David. I haven't seen the metal version one yet. I'll have to look into that sometime. Oh, Lee, hi. I do remember you. I do remember you. And is your friend named Mark? Was it Mark? I remember I drew a Doctor Strange for your buddy there at the London Film at Comic Con. Had an awesome time there. And an awesome time in London itself for the next week. Thank you, Michaela. Oh, Michaela, yes. Are you our friend that Dawn and I met at New York? You often cosplay as Harley Quinn. Yes, in fact, I'm almost sure you're you. It's so good to hear from you, Michaela. I don't know. Did we see you last year at New York Comic Con? I can't remember. I don't think. For some reason, I don't think we did. I'd love to come back to Salt Lake, Joseph. I'd love to come back to Salt Lake. We had an awesome time there last year. In fact, I saw the Aquabats play last night. We saw the Aquabats perform at the Salt Lake Comic Con last year, and they were performing at the Orange County Fair last night, opening for the B-52s, and that was a really, really, really fun show. My first time to see the B-52s live. Thank you, Devin. Hello, Edwin. Hello, Ricardo. No, this is pretty much is this the Civil War version of Spidey. No, it's pretty much just traditional Spidey. Well, I changed the angle of this face here. Yes, this is Spider-Man. I am enjoying Spider-Man right now. Once we get more details in here, it'll come together even more. Thank you for the kind words, people. Glad you enjoy my work. Any advice for someone starting out sales-wise? What I don't know if I understand what you mean by sales-wise. Feel free to elaborate. Hopefully I'll catch your elaboration. Oh, hello, Eddie in Mexico. Am I going to Portland, Oregon? I don't know yet. I've heard the Rose City Con is very good. So I have not been to a convention in Oregon yet, so I'd love to be a guest there sometime. So feel free to let your Oregonian conventions know, your Portland conventions know you'd like to see me there as a guest. Maybe they'll extend me an invitation. And that pretty much goes for any convention throughout the U.S. or the world. Let your convention promoters know which, I almost said characters, which creators you'd like to see at their show. Because they want to bring in the people that will bring you into their conventions. Your art teachers told you sketching in the Harry style was wrong? Well, I hadn't heard that. But, you know, different approaches for different styles, or you know, the way people learn or draw. You know, it's just in comics, it's all about getting the job done timely, and getting the job done as well as possible. And so I have not heard any complaints about my sketchy, hairy style. Really comes in handy when I'm drawing characters like the Beast or Sasquatch from Alpha Flight. The hairy, sketchy style, you're already halfway done with those furry characters. Alright. How much do I charge for custom work? You can email me. It all just depends on what the project is and my availability. So right now availability is the key. So right now there's a bit of a wait for my commission list, but you can email me for a little more information. Can't make any promises about custom work, but you can at least get on the commission list. But I prefer not to discuss prices over broadcasts. But thank you for asking. Welcome everyone. Welcome all you new viewers. Glad you're here. Welcome to my first this isn't Periscope. This is Facebook. My first Facebook broadcast. Hey Dennis, yes, you have gotten quite a few of my post-it note illustrations here. And for those just tuning in, whenever I do a post-it note illustration and I post on my social media, it's the first email in gets a chance at buying it, gets first crack at buying it. And Dennis has gotten in first quite a few times. I definitely recognize Dennis's name. I've addressed many an envelope to Dennis. So, first email into mail@wildguard.com. Mail@wildguard.com. First email in gets first shot. If that person cannot complete the sale, then I move to the next email in the order that it came in. It just goes to the list. Usually that first person is able to complete the sale, but if you see something you like, never hurts to email. And that's mail, M-A-I-L, at wildguard, WILDGUARD.com. And that email address should be in the About section here on my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. It's also on toddnauck.com on the About page. Don't leave a comment on that page. I will not get that one in time. You will not be in the running. You'll want to use the email address that's listed below in, I think, like the second paragraph of my bio. When did I start doing live streams on here? You're here for my very first one. Very first one. Going on right now. Art of Todd Nauck Show, episode 1 of season 1. And if this goes well, I hope to do more broadcasts from here. I'll still broadcast from Periscope. So all my Periscope viewers, don't you guys worry. Appreciate some of the Periscopers being here. I will still broadcast on Periscope, because then that gives me material, content that I can then upload to my YouTube channel. And if you're new to this broadcast right now, new to my art, you can check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/Todd Nauck. Do I not find the micron smudge? They don't smudge too much for me, no. I mean, it's not impossible for them to smudge. I mean, they have smudged before, but it's not a common thing for me. It's not like all the time. I do my best to not, rub my hand over freshly laid down lines. How do I draw from my imagination so easily, like poses and such? I don't know. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I was kind of drawing from my imagination. But, you know, it's kind of professionally, it's a marriage between drawing from your imagination and drawing from real life. So I study real life. I study muscles. Oh, man, I've been watching the Olympics this week. And my wife is like, she totally can tell when I'm studying, like, the muscles of, like, the swimmers and the gymnasts. It's like, their musculature, their tone is so amazing. It's like, this is perfect life reference for drawing muscles, especially like the women swimmers. It's like these are Wonder Woman muscles. So look at real life. Look at real life to help get that in your head, and then it's just kind of practice. I kind of catalog these poses that I sketch out or see in comics in my head, and then you know, the characters move in my head, and then I kind of just pause the film, and then I draw from that. But I rarely see the poses like clearly. Usually it's kind of a ghost image most of the time, and then as I start to sketch, it comes to life as I go. So it's not like I always see it perfectly in my mind. And sometimes it's kind of nice. It gives me the freedom to change things up as I start sketching in my hairy multi-line style, which apparently from certain art teachers' perspectives is wrong. If you were here earlier in the broadcast when someone posted a question about, is it wrong to sketch in this style because that's what their art teachers told them. So, if you're new to my Periscope, I kind of reference things that we've talked about earlier in the Periscope, or in the broadcast. So used to doing Periscope broadcasts, I keep wanting to call this Periscope. Do I have a favorite book on anatomy? I don't really have a favorite book. I guess the only book that I really had or really used back from my art school days was the Bern Hogarth Dynamic Anatomy book. So that's really about the only one I can recommend, because it's the only one I've really ever studied from. But I'd say some of the best study I've gotten was from actual real life, beyond the book. What's my opinion on micron pens versus brush pens? For me, I use both because pens give me a different texture than brushes. So I use pens for certain textures, brushes for other textures. You can see an example of this in my Storm broadcast from yesterday on my Periscope channel, which is periscope.tv/Todd Nauck. She was mostly rendered in the micron pens, but when I did the blacks of her vest, I did in brush so I could get the cuts of the wrinkled leather. How do I get out of the feeling of not knowing what to draw? You know, sometimes I have that. I want to draw something, but I don't know what to draw. I totally know that feeling. And I don't know if there's one secret way. I'd say sometimes it's you gotta slog through it and just do some cruddy sketches. Sometimes take a little break, read a comic, check your email. As my Periscope viewers know, my next suggestion is eat a bowl of Apple Jacks, come back with a fresh eye, and give that a whirl. See if something's shaken loose. Or ask your social media friends for suggestions, and then kind of rise to the challenge there of whatever character they suggest. So I did start off using the 01 pigment micron. Now I'm using the 08 here for my thicker, bolder lines. Does my Pentel pocket brush have silver Chinese writing on it? Yes, yes it does. Right there. Yes it does. I take it yours does as well? Did I always want to draw comics? Not as a little kid. You know, I wanted to be all sorts of things as a child. I wanted to be a fireman first. Then I wanted to be an astronaut after watching Star Wars at a young age. Then I wanted to be a vet. Actually, I called it a veteran. I meant veterinarian, but I kept saying veteran because I loved animals. Then I wanted to be an actor, and that was probably by junior high age. And I actually did after school acting programs, and that was pretty fun. Kind of helped me get over some of my shyness, not all of my shyness, but some of my shyness. And I was pretty serious. I really wanted to do that, but we lived in a small East Texas town, so there weren't a lot of, real big opportunities. But that was only for about a year, because by 8th grade I started reading comic books, and by 9th grade I made my first little homemade mini comic. I took some printer paper, folded it in half, and wrote and drew a comic book in one night. A friend of mine from school, who was my one of my pals in class, had said, you're always drawing and you're always reading comics. Have you ever tried to make your own comic? And that had just never occurred to me. So I decided to make my own comic that night, and that was so much fun. I knew that night, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So from age 15 on, I had a new focus. I gave up any other career idea to pursue comics. Alright, so back to the 01 here. Time to drop in the webs. Now, as a young artist, I always thought drawing the webs was the most difficult thing. And it was. It was difficult to understand how to get these webs to work right. They seemed very overwhelming. But once I practiced and started to learn the pattern, I found that it became very much easier. Still a bit of a challenge, but it wasn't like so daunting I didn't even want to try. And then the more I learned about the webs, I saw that they help inform the mass and shape of Spider-Man, because you want them to wrap around his body and show the mass of his muscles. So it's a great way to show volume of the character. So you really have to know your muscles and how the lines would curve around them. What is my favorite comic? I'd say in general X-Men. But, I mean, I love all sorts of comics. I love all sorts of characters, and I have a pretty decent-sized pull list. I'm about 2 months behind on my comic book reading because of all the work and travel my wife and I have been doing this year. this summer especially. What is your favorite comic? What do I think of the all-new Peter Parker? Are you referring to him starting his own research and tech conglomerate, Parker Industries? If you're referring to that, to the all different Spider-Man series, I like it. I'm actually quite a fan of Dan Slott's writing. I think he's been coming up with some really fun stories, so I actually really like what's going on in Spidey. But I've been enjoying it for the past 5 or more years. I've lost track how long I've been reading Dan Slott. I guess I started reading regularly with Big Time. The Big Time storyline from years back. Spider Island I thought was awesome. What I think of Suicide Squad. Didn't see the movie. Did not get a chance to see it. My wife and I were in London when the movie opened, and when I got home, we've been recovering from jet lag, and I've been getting caught up on my work deadlines. What comic series am I working on right now? I am currently doing a, earlier this year I wrapped up my miniseries, The Amazing Spider-Man and Silk, Spider-Fly Effect. All 4 issues are out on stands now, so be sure to get that. It's written by Robbie Thompson, who is the writer of the Silk ongoing series. And our story does kind of play into the current Silk continuity as well, a bit. But right now, I am now doing a series called Deadpool Too Soon. It's an 8-chapter digital comic, so the first 3 chapters are on Comixology right now, and much like Spider-Fly Effect, it will be out in print as a 4-issue miniseries. So issue 1 of Deadpool Too Soon comes out in October. This series guest stars a lot of crazy characters. We have Squirrel Girl, Howard the Duck, Ant-Man, Punisher, Spider-Ham, Rocket and Groot. It's been a crazy fun story, and we have more guest stars, and that's just in the first issue. All those characters show up. So, and then we have more that show up throughout the course of the series. So I'm working on the last issue right now. Well, not at this very moment, but at this time. Could I draw Carnage? Someday I might do a Carnage post-it. Alright. Now some erasing with my Statler Mars plastic eraser. There we go. So we're moving right along here. So for these big black areas, I spot them after I've erased. Sometimes the erasing will pull up the ink. Well, I have the first issue at Comic-Con. Hopefully the first issue will be out in time for New York Comic-Con. I really hope they have it slated. They haven't solicited it yet, so hopefully it will be a first or second week of October comic. So the first issue of Deadpool Too Soon is out in time for New York Comic Con. So I'm really hoping it will be out in time. I won't have copies there for sale, but if it's out in time, then vendors should have it there at the convention, or people can swing by the New York comic shops like Midtown Comics or Jim Hamley's Comics to pick up an issue. And I'm more than happy to sign that bad boy. And with a Deadpool comic book, it is literally a bad boy. He is very irreverent. Any reason to erase in one direction? Great question. And yes, it is. Because this post-it note is stuck at the top of this artboard here, it doesn't move around. So I pull in the direction that it's stuck. See, it's stuck here at the top, so I pull down. So, because if I push back the other way, it'll crinkle up. And I've had that happen to me before. Actually, in a broadcast on Periscope. So, so I pull down to make sure I pull off the graphite lines, but I don't crinkle up the paper by erasing too vigorously. Do I watch The Flash? I am behind in my Flash watching. I'm woefully behind. So let's start dropping in some Copic color here, using the Copic sketch markers, starting with the R24. Has anyone asked for a Kylo Ren sketch at a con? Not yet. I have drawn Kylo Ren here in my studio for post-it notes and things like that, commission type pieces, but I have not done a Kylo Ren at a convention yet. I think the only Force Awakens character I have drawn at a convention is BB-8. Not sure I can accommodate many more BB-8 commissions because of the difficulty of the correct sized circle templates to get them looking accurate. So I can't promise I can always draw a BB-8 at a convention, just as a heads up. But I think the one I did at Emerald City earlier this year might be the last BB-8 convention sketch I do. BB-8 might go the way of Galactus and movie Bane. If you've seen my broadcasts or YouTube videos in the past, there are certain characters that take way too long to draw, and I'm not able to accommodate as many requests, so certain characters are kind of off my list. Some celebrity likenesses are declined as well. So always come to a convention with a alternate choice in case your first choice is not doable as a convention sketch. Will I use white ink? Oh, yes, I will. I will be using some white ink on this. You have obviously seen my post-it note sketches and or post-it note videos / broadcasts. What's the best Copic set for beginners? I do not know. I have never purchased a set of Copics. The sets didn't really interest me because I didn't want to be forced into random colors. You know, some of the bigger sets you get, you get good, I mean, all the colors are good, but I want the colors that I really want and the neighboring colors. So I don't want to get a B14 and then a B45 and then a B62. I want a B14 and a 12 and a 14. I want the 21, 24, 26, a 45, 47. I want the corresponding colors so that I can blend more accurately. So I like purchasing my colors as desired or needed. So I've never actually purchased one of their sets. So I cannot advise on what set to get. Feel free to get a set and let me know how you like the color selection of the set you got. So let's see, it was some R27 and now I'm using some YR07. It's kind of an orange here to give it some vibrancy. Do I work in other mediums? The only other medium that I work in is watercolor. I'm looking to try some digital at some point, hopefully soon, after I get this Deadpool project done. I can do some more research and investigation in the whole digital platform arena. How do I know where to put the lights? I kind of pick a light source. So my light source is kind of coming from this direction here. So the darker shades on this side, and then the lighter shades on this side, for the most part, in general. Then there's things like reflected light and things like that, but just generally, I pick my light source from coming from the upper right-hand side, our right-hand side, Spidey's left. Alright, so let's switch over to the blues here. Have I ever made a DC comic before? Oh, yes, I have. I spent 11 years working for DC Comics. I did a series called Young Justice, the original Young Justice series, the one they based the cartoon off of. And I worked on Teen Titans. I worked on the animated Teen Titans comic. And I did fill-ins on books like Supergirl, Superman, Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, I've done a lot of work for DC in my career. A lot of great friends at DC. Hope to do books for them again sometime. Right now, Marvel has me pretty busy, and I'm loving it. What type of HB lead do I use? I use HB actually. I use HB is my favorite. Little cool gray in here. Kind of starting off with a darker shade right now because of the orange paper. Trick here that I like to do. How do I get the Copic markers off my table? Like when the ink gets on my table, coming in with here with a little B01. Yeah, I hear alcohol is a good thing. Actually, I'm using a piece of backing board. So this post-it note, here's my actual drafting table. You can see it's all scratched up. So this is actually a backing board that I'm working on here. So when I go off the lines of the paper, it's on a backing board rather than my desk. And it just looks nicer for video. Am I ready for the Justice League Dark animated film coming out? I wasn't aware that was on the way. I'll have to look into that. Let's see, come in with some darker cool gray, the C5 here. Put in a horizon line of the reflection on Spidey's lenses. Let's drop in some warm gray. Oh, what company of pencil lead do I use? I use Unikuratoga. I use a Unikuratoga mechanical pencil with a 0.3 HB lead. So I'm using some warm gray here to kind of drop in some shadows and kind of gritty up Spidey a bit. Put a shadow for where the nose would be, the brow. This kind of takes out some of the extra brightness of the color, kind of gives it a kind of, I don't know what would be the best word for it, but kind of puts a little more realism into it, for lack of a better term. Now some C4 for the blues. C4, a cool gray for the cool colors, warm gray for the warm colors. General rule of thumb. Don't always adhere to it, but general rule of thumb. Use some BG34 here for the web line. It's kind of a bluish gray, or bluish green I should say. Sorry about that, bluish green. This little spot up there, come back with the YR12. As far as commissions go, I don't really share my prices on my broadcasts, but you can email me to get on my wait list. It's kind of a long wait list, so it's good to email me now to get on that list to lock in a spot. I don't take money up front, so you don't have to pay until it's your turn to get your commission. So you can email me, mail@wildguard.com, MAIL at wildguard, WILDGUARD, one word, .com. Where am I currently employed? I'm currently employed at Marvel Comics. I'm doing a Deadpool series called Deadpool Too Soon, issue 1, out in October. Let's see, I want to drop in a fade here. So let's do a neutral gray fade. We'll kind of do a diagonal fade this way. So starting with the neutral 6, just a little bit to get it started. Coming in with some neutral 5. Blending from the 6 down. Next up is neutral 4. Do I need to clean my Copics? I don't know if I understand what you mean by clean the Copics. Neutral 3. Sometimes I have to refill them, but I don't necessarily have to clean them. How long have I worked at Image? I worked for 2.5 years for Rob Liefeld, then 2 years for Robert Kirkman. And then I did 12 issues of my creator-owned series, Wild Guard at Image, over the course of 6 years. But that was off and on while I was working at DC and Marvel. Is it difficult to get into the comic industry? It can be, yes. But it's, most anything's going to be a challenge. So people could say it's difficult to get into, well, just about any field. So yeah, there are definitely challenges. How'd I enjoy working at Image? I thought it was great. I had a lot of good fun there. A lot of fun opportunities. Got to meet some good people. So now I'm coming in with the Uniball Signo white gel pen to do my character outline. Gives them pop off of the colored paper. I like to outline the hands separately so that they pop off the body. As well. Do the tips do I clean the tips of the Copic markers? No, I don't, because they are made to not get dirty. Even if you see color infected in the tip, it doesn't affect the color. So you can look at let's grab a yellow here. So you can see a little bit of gray right there on the tip. That does not affect the yellow that comes out. So I can see that that's pure yellow there. Now, if you ever do get an infection in your tip so that it does actually affect the color coming out, you just pop the tip out, put in a brand new tip, and you're good to go. But that's pretty rare for me. Copics are a very high quality marker in that regard. Can I do different characters? Oh yeah, I do all sorts of different characters. If you check out the Post-it Note album here on my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page, you'll see over almost 300 different Post-it Note sketches. You'll see some repeated characters like Nightcrawler, Spider-Man, Gambit. But for the most part, you're going to see a lot of different characters in there. So yeah, I can draw just about any character. Just some a little more easily than others, especially if it's characters that I've worked with a long time, like Spider-Man, Deadpool, Nightcrawler, Robin, Superboy, Impulse, Beast Boy. So some characters I don't work with as frequently, like Galactus, take a bit more time. Thanks for the kind words, gang. Have I drawn Batman? I sure have. Now, I haven't drawn an issue of Batman, but I've drawn the character Batman. This white gel pen is called the Uniball, Uniball, Uniball Signo, Signo. I get these at jetpens.com, or if you're at your local art supply store, they might carry them as well. Here in Southern California, at the Art Supply Warehouse, they definitely have them. A few little web drips coming off of the web line there. Let's see. Let's put the Spidey sense tingling here. Yes, I will be at Long Beach Comic Con. I will be there. I'll be at table J1. I will be doing a limited number of commissions illustrations there at Long Beach. So get to my table early, or as soon as the doors open, I should say, not early. All the rules and how my list works are on toddnauck.com, about 3 or 4 posts down, so you want to make sure you research that. I've got prices, size info, and how my list works. Don't do pre-con commissions, so I'll go ahead and just put that out there up front. My focus will be on getting deadlines met. But if I ever am able to do pre-con commissions, I'll post an update on toddnauck.com and probably my social networks, but at least on toddnauck.com. So make sure you subscribe to the RSS feed so you get all the updates. Alright, so let's see, another little trick here. So I use these heavy grays here on his lenses, but I want to make his lenses white, so I'm coming in with some white watercolor pencil and coloring over that as well as the orange part. And I still have the shading underneath, but the white over it, so it creates the desired effect as if I were coloring it on a white piece of paper. But you still get some of that orange peeking through in the top half of the lens. Boom, just kicked up a notch there. Now I use the Uniball Signo to put a little highlight in the lenses. Let's see. Put my signature on here. Today's date is the 13th, August 2016. And there is Spidey on an orange post-it note. So I'll flip back around here. I'll do a little bit of a Q&A to close out the show, because I know I've probably missed a lot of questions. So if you want to start preparing your questions, hopefully I can answer some of them. Can't promise I can answer all of them, but I'll try to answer as many as I can. And there we go. Let me get this. Let me see. I'll turn around this way. Oop, there we go. Hopefully that wasn't too painful. So, are there any other? Did I miss any questions? Can I redraw that? You missed the beginning. Sorry, Doug. But hey, good to see you, Doug. Welcome. Doug is someone I met at the conventions. He's an excellent photographer. Yeah, you'll have to go back and rewatch from the beginning. I'm so sorry, Doug. What characters do I wish I could work with? Oh, there are lots of characters I'd like to work with or work with again. So I'd love to do more X-Men stuff, especially getting to draw Kitty Pryde. I'd love to draw some Booster Gold. He's one of my favorite DC characters. Flash would be fun to draw. Fantastic Four type characters would be fun to draw. I've gotten to draw the Thing in a couple of stories, but I'd love to draw more. You were kidding, Doug? I totally get jokes. I totally get jokes. They're some of my favorite ways to make me laugh. I knew you were kidding. Do I like Scotty Young's Baby Marvel drawings? Yeah, Scotty Young's a fantastic artist and a really cool guy. I've known him for a number of years now, and I really enjoy what he does. He's got a very, very unique style. It's really fun to see how he's evolved into what he's doing now. It's really awesome. When drawing comics, you do everything, right? Like including the cityscapes, buildings, cars, etc. Did it take longer to learn that than comic characters themselves? Yeah, it did take longer to learn because you're having to learn how to draw everything in the world. There's still new things that I'm learning. I mean, you just never know what the writer's going to throw at you in a story, you know? Sometimes you have to draw a helicopter, a T-Rex, a blender, a dentist office, you know, a puddle of blood, a puddle of water, a puddle of mud. You know, it's all going to be different, and you've got to study and research to do it. Optimus Prime is behind me. Watch out. Why should I watch out? He's my friend. Optimus Prime is awesome. He wouldn't hurt me. Megatron, Starscream, those are the ones you have to watch out if they're behind you. But Prime, he's got your back, man. You can't wait for my Deadpool work. Thank you. October. Make sure you have it added to your comic book shop pull list. Deadpool 2 soon. Tell your comic shop that you want that added to your list. Do I like the reinventions of classic characters? Possibly, if done well, sure. When am I back at La Mole? You'll include the tacos and guacamole. Saucy, I cannot wait to come back to La Mole. The 2 times Don and I have been, we've had such a fun time. I've been studying my Spanish on Duolingo. It tells me I'm 11% fluent in Spanish. I think the app is being very generous, but I'm learning a little bit. I want to try to learn how to speak Spanish. Since so many of my Spanish friends can speak English, I figure I should reciprocate. It'll probably be a long time before I can speak fluent Spanish, but I'm trying. And I'd love to come back to La Mole. We love the people there. We love the convention. We love the area. We cannot wait to come back. Do I ever give people feedback? I'm assuming like on your art. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to do, especially online, because I get a lot of requests for it. I can't do that. It's just too much. It takes too much time. It would be a full-time job for me. So sometimes I can give a little note here and there, but it's pretty rare. I can never promise that I can. But if you're ever at a convention that I'm at, feel free to bring your portfolio by. If there's time during the convention, I'll try to take a look there and give a tip or two in person. Can't make promises there either, but do stop by my table to check. Usually towards the end of the day is when I'm most free to possibly look at portfolios. When am I back in the UK? Was too late for a commission at London Film and Comic Con 2016. I hope to be back sometime in the future. We loved our time there. We definitely want to come back. There's more of the UK that we want to visit. I want to go to Cardiff and go to the Doctor Who experience. Didn't get to do that this trip, so I'd love to come back for more UK Comic Cons. Let your convention know you'd like to see me and my wife there, and hopefully they'll extend an invite. Would I draw any cartoon characters? I would. Sure. I could draw just about anybody, any character. So you never know who I'm going to draw on some of my broadcasts. So always stay tuned for that. Oh, your daughter still sings Let It Go, thanks to Dawn. Oh, and my Chewbacca impersonation made an impression too. Oh, obviously we saw you at London Film and Comic Con, where my wife threw me under the bus to do a Chewbacca impersonation. And don't ask now, I will not do my Chewbacca impersonation on this broadcast. I do not need that living on in video infamy. When is IDW going to grab the rights to Psych and get me to draw the further adventures of Sean Spencer and Burton Guster? You love my cosplay of the character at conventions. You know, I'm waiting for that day. And who knows when it will come, but you know, I sense it might be a while. Now, Darkside, please. Thank you for asking. Can't make any promises, but you never know. Never know. So, looks like, as I say, we've run out of questions. See you at NYCC as well. Hector, see you there. I want to say thanks so much for tuning in, gang. I hope y'all had a fun time. I know I had fun. I'll be posting this Spider-Man sketch to the Post-it Note album here on my Facebook page. Be sure to follow or like my Facebook, Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. If you're viewing my broadcast here for the first time, just swing over there, just click the like button, and you'll get updates of all the different projects I'm working on, sketches that I post, conventions, sketches and photos from conventions. Please do. This sketch is for sale. I probably already have an email or more already that have come in, but you can email me, mail@wildguard.com, and the first email in gets first crack at buying, and I'll reply with the price for that that specific post-it. And that's when I post any post-it, whether it's a broadcast or just one I've done and posted. So feel free to email me, easy for me to say, I almost said edamame, I think. So feel free to email me, mail, M-A-I-L, at wildguard, WILDGUARD.com, and first email in gets first crack. If they can't follow through on the sale, next person in line who got their email in next, I go in the order that the emails come in. So there might be a slight chance you might be able to purchase it if you're not the first person in. But like I said, I haven't checked my email yet, obviously, but when I do, I won't be surprised if there's at least one or more emails already in asking to purchase this one. So Yes, they're all post-it notes are all sketches are always for sale when I post it. You can ask for a commission piece at New York Comic Con. You'll want to check toddnauck.com for my commission info, prices, and how my list works each day of the con. I take a new list each day of the con. First, however many people I'm able to draw that day, how many requests I can take that day are on my list. Then it's closed. A new list will start that next morning when the doors open. So you want to make sure you're positioned at the right place in line at when they open the doors so that you can access my table as quickly as possible. So, but I rarely do pre-con commissions because usually I'm focused on work. So, but if I, like I said earlier in the broadcast, if I am ever able to do a pre-con commission or take reconnecting pre-con commissions, I don't know if y'all see that when it says it's trying to reconnect. I'll post an update on toddnauck.com. So subscribe to the RSS feed of toddnauck.com so you don't miss an update, especially with those pre-con commission updates. They're very rare. They haven't happened yet, but if they ever do happen, I'll post then so people have at least as decent as a shot as anyone else at getting a pre-con commission. So thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all joining me for my very first Facebook broadcast. I'm bound to do more of these here on Facebook. I will continue to do these on Periscope, so follow me on Periscope. I'm at Todd Nauck on Periscope or periscope.tv/Todd Nauck. And be sure to follow me on my social networks, Twitter, Instagram, at Todd Nauck, Tumblr, YouTube channel, youtube.com/Todd Nauck. You can see more of my art videos. If there are any other places I can hype? I think I'm good. Because you're already here on the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. And I'll see y'all again soon. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Take care.